Welcome back to the Smite Console League. Finch here, joined by Ryan Aggro Bailey, and today we're taking a look at PlayStation. Already finished up Xbox, so we're going over to the newer fellas, all kind of trying to get their groove and, you know, trying to get into playing the league format.
And I've got good news for you in particular, Finch. We get to see Playing Ducks today.
That's right, baby!
Oh,
best logo in the scene.
You're right. I mean, you're not wrong. Lightning Vikings, a team name that I was really behind, no longer anymore. Bulldogs now believe they were signed to an organization, so congratulations to them. Certainly excited to see what they can bring.
Yeah, they're going to need to try and find some wins here up against Playing Ducks. This really is kind of the determining factor. I feel like Ducks now on the precipice of kind of moving up a little bit if they get this win here. I think they'd be 2-1 as a result. On the other side, Bulldogs really don't want to drop down to 0-3.
Exactly, and it's only one split. It's not like they have that same advantage that the Xbox teams had of, you know, getting better throughout an entire season.
Right.
They really got to try and improve quickly, and I do think that happens. I mean, it's like when you don't go to the gym and then you start going to the gym, you see improvements very, very quickly, and then it slows down and becomes harder.
Right.
The same thing happens in competitive play. When you first start playing, you'll improve very, very rapidly because everything is, you know, even minor improvements are such a vast difference from where you were before, and then that improvement rate slows down. So it's trying to make the best of what you've got while you have it.
Let's go ahead and take a look at what matchups we have coming on here throughout the day. Again, that first is going to be Playing Dogs up against Bulldog Esports, but then we're also going to see Evil Lemons going up against Coalition later on. Should be a tough one for Evil Lemons, but I like to see those boys try and get that done here in that setup later on. So another good one to watch in North America.
I just don't understand the banana logo for Evil Lemons. I just don't get it.
Maybe a banana is just an evil lemon.
I do,
but
like
even that
bananas.
doesn't make sense because bananas are sweeter than lemon. I don't
Wouldn't
know.
the lime be the evil lemon or something like that?
Yeah, that's actually not a bad one. Yeah, lime is the evil lemon. Yeah,
they should change their logo to a lime. I think that would be very funny.
That could be a good one for them. But yeah, here are those standings. You can see Evil Lemon have not had an easy time of it. Neither have Bulldog Esports, but a chance for both of them to try and catch up to the top. The Freaks continue to look strong here in Europe, but Ducks want to be right behind them after their not an easy win over Insomnia last week. That was like a 3-game slugfest between those two.
Oh yeah, I remember. It was a close one between those two for sure. So excited to see if Playing Ducks has learned from that and are able to put that into practice up against Bulldog Esports.
And for what it's worth, we don't know much about these teams yet, so we don't have huge sample sizes, so we can't really say, you know, who are huge favorites going into it, that sort of stuff. We're definitely still all getting to know each other, us too, as well as them, so there's still a lot to be learned. I don't think that Bulldog Esports, just because they're 0-2, need to feel like they have to play up here so much. Just come in and play your best Smite.
No, and if my memory serves me properly, I don't think we've gotten a chance to see them on stream quite yet.
I don't think so either, yeah.
Freaks up against Playing Ducks week 1, and then Playing Ducks versus Insomnia week 2. So now there's our first chance to take a look at the team
logo.
Formerly known. Yeah, the Bulldogs logo is pretty good.
No, you know that's not what I meant.
I know.
You get out of here.
I know.
It's not. It's free for them. Are you kidding me? I gotta get me some duck shades, man, and get on their level.
The white goggles look? That's what you're looking for?
Oh, yeah. I gotta get on their level.
It's better than your current sunglasses, which are the Minecraft version. Those are not good.
Those aren't cool.
This is an intervention.
Those loot crate.
This is the intervention.
Shades aren't
Casters, come on, yeah, all of you come in here. Like, we gotta teach Finch a lesson here. No one looks good in the Minecraft sunglasses, dude. No one.
That's a good call on that one. But another good call on these bans. A lot of the popular stuff right now getting taken out of here. Baron, Churn, Freya, Athena. Makes sense to get those off the board. And really, it feels like Naja, at least in SPL we still see him, especially in Europe. But in minor league, on console, he has really just fallen off.
I mean, losing the power on the passive is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And it definitely hurt him from where he was after the passive change. But I still think that losing that critical strike chance and gaining movement speed on his passive stacks is still a net positive for Naja the majority of the game, unless you're way luckier than me and are critting consistently off that passive. I think the movement speed is still good, and we'll see teams go back to it. I think by the time HRX rolls around, as long as Naja hasn't seen any more nerfs, we'll see plenty of them.
He's just so good at setting up and so much pressure early. I think he still has all that, so we'll see if he gets valued. But Ducks right now, they're valuing some beefy boys over there, Terra and Zhong. Good luck trying to kill either one of those once they get rolling, so a nice front line for them.
Bulldogs equally thick over there. I mean, Bulldog, I mean, that is a thick boy right there in the logo, and they're matching it. Cerberus, Sobek, Erlang, Shen, that's a beefy front line.
It really is.
For sure. Is the Ducks go with Serqet, which is a really good idea, has penetration on Deathbane, does percent HP based on her passive, true damage on the ultimate. Those are easy ways to bring down tanky targets.
Yeah, it sure feels good getting to pick that 6th, huh? Serqet pretty strong right now, and she comes in.
Yep.
Erlang getting selected in the jungle over the Serqet even, and that's not too surprising. I feel like with Berserkers right now, he's so strong in the jungle, this Erlang Shen pick, which I imagine is where we're going to see him. Very strong between those two. But between Sobek and Cerberus, you're thinking Sobek support Sobek solo then very likely here?
Yeah, Cerberus support Sobek solo is what I'd expect to see. I think you can do it the other way around, but
yeah,
you're expecting to see Zhong most likely in the solo lane, and Zhong can interrupt that ghastly breath for Cerberus. Can't really do anything against Sobek, so I think Sobek's a better solo laner in this spot.
2 late-game hunters getting picked here between the Xbalanque and the Rom. Very potent once they get some items online. But that Astral Arrows might give a slight edge to Rom. We'll see how that goes early on. And the Zeus to follow up, man. I love it. Sobek going to be serving up, and Zeus is right there to knock him down. Such
good frontline, good CC, good peel, most importantly. These Guardians are very good at peel, and that is critical with the Zeus. And these are 2 very similar compositions, aren't they? I mean, Scylla now on the other side. Again, tanky, but not as much for the Ducks. Definitely going to be not quite as tanky as Bulldog, but have a little bit more damage.
I think I might give the control edge a little bit over to Bulldogs, but I'm right there with you. Isn't it so close, right? Like these sort of big, bursty, old-school mages, late-game auto-attack-centric hunters. This is going to be a real kind of like just man-against-man match here between these 2. I'm excited. What about you all? Who do you think is going to be able to take this one? Make sure you vote for us in Mixer.
But don't vote based on logos, because we need some people to be voting for Bulldog Esports. Yeah, we don't want it to be 100% to 0.
Did you see how close it was earlier? Wasn't it like 97-3 when Rival was up against Cyclone? I don't know if you were watching earlier.
I think
they might have been right. Rival's very good.
Rival's very good, but they look, I don't know, they look kind of mortal recently.
Sure.
I think that they're playing at a level that is almost similar. It's pretty similar to what we saw from them during spring and during summer, but every other team in Europe has gotten so much better in that time that they look like I could see them dropping a full set and getting swept potentially. And I think that there are teams that can 2-0 Rival right now.
I think so too. They just got to make sure they play at. I still think if Rival's playing at their peak, no one in Europe can touch them.
Agreed.
But I think what's happening is maybe they're not always at that peak when they're playing against these teams because they've been so dominant for so long in Europe now. Really, the whole Season 5 has just been all them over there.
Really has. And one of these PS4 teams might end up going up against Team Rival.
That's true.
Bulldog with the new logo on them and the new organization. That can sometimes kind of revitalize you and get you excited in the middle of a season. I mean, we are nearing the midway point here for these console teams, and it starts to weigh on you for sure, scrimming incessantly for months and months and months and playing your games and trying to balance real life on top of those. It can be a grind for sure. It's something like signing with a new organization can kind of revitalize you.
Yeah, I think it absolutely can have that kind of impact that they're looking for. They're going to need it, as already they're in a good spot here. They were able to go up and looks like look for the pro buff invade, at least get it started. Looks like they didn't pick anything up as a result of it, so maybe they left it alone.
They got the minis.
Got the smalls on the
side,
so
they hit level 2 is the whole idea in that spot. You want to hit level 2 early enough without committing to the buff just in case you end up losing it.
And I think that was the right call for them. They're able to come back, grab their own, and head back here in lane. They can try and establish some pressure where they should already have it just because Xbalanque can get kind of bullied very early on. But look at that mixer pull. It's very close. Ducks have a slight edge over Bulldogs, but they're putting these teams right neck and neck with each other.
Oh, great blink right on top of Arya, but that Erlang shield just good enough. Love the idea there between SARPEII and TPC, but just short on the damage.
Yeah, and Arya Crew's going to be, feeling pretty good about just barely making it out of there and denying first blood over to SARPEII, who, by the way, was a huge part of how they turned their set around against Insomnia in the jungle.
You know what Arya says to death. Not today.
Not today. I think you mean on her, not Arya.
No, it's a reference to the book series, to the show. I'm not because Arya is a character in a very popular book series and TV show.
I can't think of what that could be.
Scooby-Doo.
Is it like maybe like, I don't know, I haven't thought of it. Shameless.
I don't really like that show that much.
Me neither. I don't like the one you're talking about that much either, though.
Well, you're insane.
By the way, I historically take bad takes and positions.
I know.
This is my least popular one, even more than the Finding Nemo one.
No,
I dislike Game of Thrones is like
your least popular opinion is definitely that you don't like dogs that much.
I don't dislike dogs. I just don't. I'm not as in love with them as everyone else. I don't dislike them.
That is your least popular take.
That's barely a take. I like dogs. I don't.
How much though?
I think cats. I like cats more. That's the truth.
Unpopular take.
It is unpopular. And I live there. That's fine with me.
This is your home court.
That's right. This is where I usually play. But I'm gonna ride with the Ducks here in this set. We'll see how well they end up doing up against a tough opponent here in Bulldogs, who so far, at least in the early game, are hanging right there with them. They've been able to establish some pressure there in the middle lane. They've kept GunTeR Warrior rather comfortable here in the mid lane on this Zeus as well. It was really just that brief scare onto Arya, and he made it back out. So far, so good for Bulldog.
Very much so. And they've got, like I said, during the draft, they've got great team fight potential with this draft. I think that you're really not looking to play through the first 10 minutes. You kind of want to play it slow, and luckily for Bulldog, I think that playing Dux is in that same boat. I just don't think playing Dux' team fight is quite as good. SARPEII's dead. Yeah, that's every time. I mean, without Blink, if you've got an Erlang Shen in that spot and you get knocked up right into Zeus damage, SARPEII could have had beads, could have had Aegis, it wouldn't have mattered. That's just way too much damage for a squishy Serqet to take at that point.
It ends up getting punished, and that is a huge turnaround now in Arya's favor, working together with GunTeR Warrior to slow down SARPEII. I already said this before, but really, the big turnaround between games 1 and then 2 and 3 for playing Dux was the way SARPEII played, particularly in the early game for this playing Duck roster. So now, a little bit on the back foot, not level 5 still. Arya already ready to rock and roll with his taunt. And if you're taunting him for a moment in GunTeR Warrior's ult, I mean, that should just be death for anyone.
Yep, and especially if GunTeR Warrior is laying down his shield preemptively. That's the most important thing when playing Zeus with a small CC composition. I'm talking about pin from Erlang Shen, you know, the mini Erlang Shen knockup, the taunt that doesn't last very long. It's CC potential, yes, but if an opponent has beads or has the opportunity to use a movement skill in between this and Arya's a little bit off their timing with their setup, then Zeus damage really won't land because the shield takes so long to deploy. But what you really want to do is lay down the shield preemptively where you know that someone's going to be blinking in, and just a chain lightning detonate off of a knockup will be enough to kill. You don't even need to drop the ult.
Wormy came in trying to help out in the dual lane, but there really wasn't much more there. Both of these mid laners, though, to take a transition there, electing to go with this book start. Not finishing off just yet. It looks like GunTeR wanted to go back and grab the full boots. Same thing for TPC. He has that tier 2 to get him moving a little bit sooner. They'll be able to go back and finish up those big power banks in just a moment.
No Rod Rush for GunTeR Warrior this time around. We saw it during the console, the Xbox earlier on, and yeah, it was Mitch Teep who got it done there. I do think it's good on Zeus. I think that starting boots 2 and Lost Artifact, finishing your boots right away, gets you back to defend your own red buff or invade a red buff pretty easily, and you'll just do more damage than anyone else because of the start that you have. And then getting the Rod of Tahuti really takes away your mana woes because the MP5 on that item is so insane. It's the passive itself is so good on Zeus. Probably the best character that can utilize Rod of Tahuti effectively. You should probably be buying Rod of Tahuti in every single Zeus build, almost regardless of what the enemy team is doing or building against you.
Yeah, it really feels like one more line at the end of that Rod passive could be like what Zeus likes to do, because he's always using that detonate charge on you as you're kind of like retreating at low health, it feels like. So it really does kind of just work for him as GunTeR Warrior. SARPEII and Wormy having a bit of a scuffle there, but SARPEII ends up making it out. He's elected to go with this Blink, but aside from up against Arya, we haven't gotten to see SARPEII be very aggressive. That's what this Blink signals, right? He wants to be the initiator. He hasn't found much space.
Not a whole lot yet, but he'll get there eventually.
Yeah,
it really only takes one moment to insta-kill a Zeus with Serqet. I do think that I'd like to see Wormy play aggressively, though. You basically should be forcing SARPEII, once Ambush and Deathbane are down, like, say it was on that bottom left side, I think Wormy could have easily leaped after SARPEII and used that Stygian Torment to try and keep the fight going. Is good chain lightning in the mid lane there from GunTeR Warrior. He has been keeping TPC, SARPEII, Basic, whoever shows up in the mid lane, very poked. And that's the best thing you can be doing as Zeus, because you, at this point, need a lot of CC help in order to 100 to 0 someone, but you can get them down to 50 and then kill them pretty easily after that.
Basic had to retreat as Wormy was rotating over, but all this poke, all this pressure does mean now that Bulldog can be here for the red buff spawn. It's 2v3. Raiden's on his way over here to try and help out as well. They already dropped White Noise's ultimate, and Wormy has become the target. The ultimate will force everybody back. The ticks are spreading in Shell just to make sure. Now Basic's dove a little bit too far, can't find it, and the red buff will be secured by Bulldog.
Couple awkward ultimates, but GunTeR Warrior is the only one who used one on Bulldog. Shell was used as well by Wormy, but that's a worthwhile investment. You got a relic out of Basic at the same time, and you got 3 ultimates out of playing Dux. Now, it's usually better on red buff invades to drop ultimates and be unsuccessful than to drop relics and be unsuccessful, because your ult will be up for the next red buff spawn anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. whereas relics will not be up for the next red buff respawn, and so that can put a damper on the invade plan. But with both supports using their relics, I think that it basically washes out, and we should see Bulldog on that red buff again.
And it really was all Wormy that kind of forced that part of the trade to go in their favor. He was so far ahead of everyone else, and Playing Ducks, I think, thought they had a chance to take down this Cerberus, but even still, even though it's early on, they couldn't quite commit enough onto him. He had the shell there just to make sure as well. And so the red buff is successful. Now GunTeR feeling a little bit better. They're trying to keep TPC down a bit, and that's worked out. And Bulldog so far can feel pretty good about this early game.
No Glad Shield for Arya. You mentioned it in talking about why Erlang is really strong right now, but goes for the Crusher anyways. And I think Crusher is basically core on Erlang jungle. It gives him literally everything he wants. Penetration, attack speed, power, and a great passive that he can use very easily with pin from a distance, and adds to his burst damage with the pin and a knock-up combination. I think this is a great item. I don't think it's a bad idea for him to go for Gladiator Shield now, right afterwards, but may also need to transition into something a little bit tankier.
Yes.
At this point in the game, he's got a couple options. I don't think a Runic Shield would be bad for him. Try and shut down the damage from tier and TPC and basic simultaneously. I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I really think TPC is going to be his biggest problem. And as you said, even basic can't be entirely ignored in the damage department as White Noise drops the ult one more time. Basics, the target basic removed by the Lightning Storm. Wormy can't quite control SARPEII, who is forced to jump out, but another easy pick for Bulldog, and they're going right to the red buff.
Perfect timing right before red spawns. Now, SARPEII is going to get in there and try and contest on that red, but Arya's able to get away as on this left-hand side, Raiden's doing great work.
Able to get some good damage in, but SARPEII just barely ends up making out from that one. And from GunTeR's pathing, yes, it is indeed going to be the red buff going down for Bulldog. So another successful invade. This has now kind of transitioned itself into about a 2,000 gold lead in favor of Bulldog. And they might get more as White Noise knocked up. Just barely able to get the Rising Jaguar off, but where's the pin? Doesn't need it. Raiden with the scope.
Really nice shots there out of Bulldog's ADC, so that's another kill. Man, Bulldogs look really good. They look well organized. They're on their timers. GunTeR Warrior has been significantly out DPSing TPC right now in the mid lane and really out farming him outright. He's up 2 levels, is up by a lot of gold. About 1,200 gold is just for GunTeR Warrior by himself. And that's both a good thing and a bad thing. You're putting a lot of eggs in one basket in a way, where if GunTeR falls, then a lot of your lead is off the map for an extended period of time. But it also means that one of your hyper carries and someone who can do insane work in the mid game is in a really good spot to do so.
That's true. And you didn't pick Zeus to be safe anyway. But not if you're putting him in the mid lane for GunTeR Warrior. So I'm definitely happy with the way they're doing this so far. I mean, this lead has really kind of risen out of, just like you said, right? They had a clear, concise plan. And so far, that's when these PS4 teams in particular have looked their best, when they've had sort of a core strategy that they just continually try and execute. And so far, they've been able to succeed. Sometimes it'd be the blue buff invades on the solo side. Sometimes it's the red buff invades. It started to build Bulldogs a nice early lead. Can they transition that all the way through the rest of the game?
I really wish GunTeR Warrior would be building an Enchanted Spear right now, would be going into Divine Ruin with this next item. I think that would be his best option to keep this lead really, really safe, because you're already getting Sunpen from Wormy, yes, and Ghastly Breath, but the best way to keep a lead is just to be doing true damage, basically, to your opposition.
Here's the one that's too far forward, but DaveJr rotates over and punishes TPC. Back in pulled is basic, locked down in the storm. Bad weather warning goes the favor of Bulldog Esports as they find 2 quick picks, and they're right onto the Gold Fury, Raiden already there.
As they should be. This should be a pretty easy one for them to get. White Noise didn't use the ultimate in that last fight. Probably should have. Just try and get his team out of danger.
And he's been quick on the trigger all game on that, too.
Yep. Yeah, uncharacteristic, I think, a little slow there for White Noise, but it just means that Bulldog is able to pull that much further ahead.
Yeah.
Wonder what they were doing the first 2 weeks to be 0-2, because they look really good so far.
That's a good point. Maybe they just played up against Freaks, and Freaks just that good. But you're right. Here in this game, they look excellent. And it really is all being born from, I think, a clear plan in each one of these engagements. Tier was a little bit too far forward that time, and that kind of set up for the rest of the team. But they got the punish on TPC. They know who their target is. Everyone's communicating and focusing that person. It's working well as GunTeR barely makes it out.
Has to use the beads, so there's an opportunity for Playing Ducks to try and get on the board in the kill department. They're still killless through the first 13 minutes as Arya does end up going for that Gladiator shield and I think this is a smart use of just keeping a lead where you can. Let's use the 1,700 gold that I got from that mid lane fight, that I got from that Gold Fury, and just spend it right away and get the most bang for my buck as soon as possible, so that way we can force a Pyromancer or Tower and keep that ball rolling. It slows down the ultimate build, which is, you know, the full 6 items. Now we'd have to sell Berserkers eventually, ideally, to get a more effective late game option, but it's so worth it in the interim that I think it's the right way to go.
Especially the way that Arya's been playing. He's been far forward. He's been doing a lot of auto trading out, especially with SARPEII on the backside. So, I mean, he's going to be in a great spot for that going forward. Again, he'll be a little bit more worried about TPC, but they've kept him so down so far. Level 10, he's not a big concern as TPC can't find the ultimate. GunTeR Warrior in a little bit of trouble. They do control SARPEII.
Oh, great damage coming out of GunTeR, who pushes forward, knowing that SARPEII is just dead on the back as Raiden looking for his second one. Last shot could do it.
That's all you need.
And it does. It's a double kill for Raiden.
Raiden is tearing it up in the mid lane, and now Tyr is in some trouble as well. He is going to release all those demons, but can they lock him down is the question. Arya getting slow. The slow is too good, but Pluck even better. Pulls it right back towards Wormy. And who else but Arya is the one that puts him down. 8-0 now for Bulldog.
Basic nearly falls to GunTeR Warrior's damage, and it's looking ugly so far for the Playing Ducks. I wonder if they could just pull fire at this point. I think that you could legitimately just make a fire giant call here. Healthy enough, no one's close enough, everyone's on the respawn. Was an option for Bulldog. They play it safe, which is not a bad thing to do. Just something that when they look back, go, you know, maybe we could have made this call instead.
That's right, and it's rare for playing safe, especially there where they did so much well anyway, to really end up hurting. But as you're right, that could have been really like another nail in the coffin and kind of really accelerate Bulldog, but they're still out in front pretty commandingly anyway. They've got a near 7,000 gold lead, yeah, right at that mark, and 10,000 experience. And we started to hit on it in the last fight. I think what's really hurting is just how far behind TPC is. I mean, even if they find the setup that they want, I don't know if the damage is there.
No, it's not. He's only level 11. I mean, he's down 4 levels right now to GunTeR Warrior, and now GunTeR has this Book of the Dead, which is going to provide him a massive shield to get him safety up against Serqet, up and against Scylla as well. I do think this item is really, really good on Zeus. I think it's definitely worth building this route, even though the rod start, as I was highlighting earlier, is really good. I think this is also a very viable strategy. I still think Divine Ruin, third item, gets GunTeR a better power spike and is able and lets him do more in these team fights, not only by way of dealing a lot of damage to the tanks in that way, but basically count the damage that you're taking away their healing as extra damage. Right. I think Divine's a little bit more useful, but still, man, now, once he gets Divine, he'll be basically unkillable and doing a lot of damage.
I want to ask you about Tyr over here on the Zhong Queen, the solo lane. Is this Gem Vitation is the first health item the way it goes? No, a lot of time for the solo Zhongs, you can build Warlocks pretty freely over there, but he's elected this Gem of Isolation.
I wonder if he was planning on going Gem, as he's planning on heading to base right now after that pluck. He shouldn't last for very long. Yeah. GunTeR on the back is under some siege. Book of the Dead shield coming into play as a nice I'm a Monster gets that kill, and the poison spreads.
A bit of an overcommitment on the Tyr. Just when we brought him up, he does survive it all. TPC hits big damage too. Crush is not going to get the damage. Raiden has Aegis, but they should be able to lock him down. He ends up falling, and just like that, a deicide not going to find Wormy, but they get 4 members. Playing Ducks come out with all 4 kills right there.
Wow, that is absurd.
Huge for them.
That just happened for Playing Ducks. It's a matter of how much they can get off of this, and it should be 2,000 gold spread across the team. A tier 1 and a tier 2, both in mid. But that fight, GunTeR just didn't use the Aegis when he needed to. Even if he Aegises, not the I'm a Monster, after that, and it just kind of walks back towards the enemy team, if poison doesn't spread, that team fight is still fine for Bulldog. It's that poison hit onto 3 people and did insane burst damage, and then once one person dies, and then the next person dies, that third person has poison hit them twice, and you've got it stacked on you, and then it's impossible for you to live at that point. So Bulldog definitely grouping up a little bit too much. I would like to see GunTeR use that ultimate a little bit earlier, and again, maybe that lack of pen does come back to hurt him there. The Void Stone and the natural protections of Zhong Queen are enough to keep Tyr off longer than he should have.
He ends up really, I don't know if intentionally, but certainly being tasty bait for Bulldog, and they chase a little bit too far. Now they answer back to that tier 1, tier 2 in middle lane by grabbing the gold Fury to try and keep that lead pushed out in their favor. But that was Playing Duck showing that they certainly can still team fight when they're all grouped up. But that was just about everything hitting home. A 2-man ultimate from TPC, right? SARPEII getting the poison to spread, and Tier absorbing a ton of cooldowns. I don't know how often it'll line up that way, but when it does, they look good.
SARPEII's instincts in that fight were great. Good timing from White Noise's ultimate was enough disruption, and I think that's a reason why TPC is able to hit that ultimate without the Aegis coming out from GunTeR Warrior in time. That was really impressive. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that I just came up with this, but it's kind of true. Scylla ult, like one Scylla ult can basically change the course of an entire game.
Whoa, that's actually pretty. I didn't even realize that's legit.
Yeah, like you can miss all of them.
If you hit one, because it'll reset and you can get a bunch of value out of that.
Right. Like sometimes you'll miss all of your Scylla ults in a game, but then hit one, and then the whole course of the game is different.
That's a big revelation, man. And not just that. I liked how like succinctly you put it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like one Scylla ult can change a game. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Say it a lot.
Yeah, I just like I really think that my recent phrase that I came up with, stuff after the stuff.
That's another good one.
Force the issue.
That's a better one.
I tried them out.
Just being a savage person.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I tried them out, and people didn't seem to like them that much. They kind of thought they weren't that good.
Right.
So I'm trying something new here with this one. Let me know what you think.
I'm a big fan of it. I say keep it going. We'll see if it sticks.
Yeah.
We got to kind of hear from the community first if they're fans of it, and
right.
Probably not. But you said you wanted pen from GunTeR Warrior. Is Divine Ruin what you were expecting here? I mean,
yes.
I guess you got to slow down basic some
yes,
on this Earth and Fury.
Plus, Tier Toxic is going to have a little bit of healing in the middle of the team fights. I do think that Divine, again, I would have liked to see it earlier, but yes, I think it's the right pickup. Now he probably needs to go Obsidian Shard before he can go Rod of Tahuti, just because just that amount of flat pen, 15, probably isn't enough, though. As long as GunTeR Warrior is hitting the same targets that Wormy is hitting with Ghastly Breath, then you're A-OK in the pen department. Ghastly Breath should be hitting a tank every fight. It should be hitting Toxic in particular. It will make him so much easier to kill.
Well, 5 people in a tower couldn't do it last time. What about 3 people? But Toxic's way out of position. He drops the ultimate, and that forces 2 out. Sprint comes out too, and he is A-OK on out of there. This is not the first time Tier's been able to get some cooldowns, but Bulldog hold on to their ults. They don't too hard commit.
I would have loved to see this Blink for Toxic be an Aegis instead. Blink, you don't... Push beats alert. You don't need to have Blink against the Sobek. You just make him pluck you, and that is your Blink in a lot of ways. I mean, unless Dave is going to learn his lesson, I think that's a better way to do it.
Right, and in a whole heap of trouble. It's up into the air, but no one's on their way to help out. It looks like Wormy might be considering, but it's too little too late. He drops back down, actually almost wins the trade up against SARPEII, but White Noise a little bit too strong. He makes it out. Now, though, can DaveJr, without the blink, close the gap for the Sickening Strike or for the Tail Whip? Yep. Sickening Strike was enough.
But that's going to cost DaveJr. There's the blink coming in from Toxic as Dave not quite out of there yet. There is no way he lives from this.
Wow, he makes it out, and GunTeR Warrior finds TPC. Now White Noise is getting chased underneath the tower by Arya, who's happy to do this. Remember, he can just sustain with the Berserkers, but the shield comes through from White Noise, makes it out, but GunTeR Warrior quickly rectifies the situation. They got to get this tier 1 first, and then they can keep up the push.
Turns out, being CC immune and also getting 30% more protections is a pretty good ultimate.
Yeah, it is.
Slows in an area, does a lot of damage. Basic is dead, by the way, and that's pretty good. Sobek is he's a good god.
Pick him. I don't know who I'm talking to. He gets picked a lot. He's very good. Everyone's already playing this guy, but he's so strong. I mean, it really is starting to feel more and more like there's no one else you'd rather have in a team fight as Tier in a lot of trouble. Yeah, GunTeR Warrior cleans that one up. Tier just sticks around too long.
Wormy nearly dies for getting an extra little taunt in, but some would say that's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
I would not.
Really? Those are big plays and you can get those taunts in, man.
Oh, yeah?
Now you know who's better. It's me. The one taunting you underneath your tier 2.
What if...
punish me for it next time, then.
What if, I don't know, theoretically, you were on LAN and winning a game, and then you decided you wanted to taunt someone's body, and then you got killed for it, and that got another one of your teammates killed, and then you ended up losing that game in large part due to that. What would you think about that one?
Yeah, that'd be a problem. You shouldn't have that happen. Yeah. So you're talking about like in the duo lane, maybe, like around that area of the map in particular?
Yeah,
or,
yeah, probably. I think that's what I'm talking about. Yes,
that's not a good look. As Bulldog have a good look as they grab the Fire Giant. And already enjoying a 10,000 gold lead. Why not stack one of the best buffs you can ask for on top of that? Now Bulldog, team-wide, ready to start moving in and taking down some of these Tier 2 towers.
Now, the team fight for playing Ducks has been more successful than it really should be with the lead that Bulldog has at this point. But now that GunTeR did pick up Obsidian Shard, now Toxic is going to crumble very, very quickly. A stone cutting sword for Arya plus a wing blade means that he's very difficult
Him and Dave
to peel away. Yeah, Dave also picking up that wing blade. Good itemization towards the end game.
They went back and studied with Dave Sr. in the interim. That's what happened. You were asking why this Bulldog looks so much better than those other teams. They've been training with the Master.
I forgot about this bit.
Dave Sr. is a legend.
Yeah, he sure is. Dave Sr., everybody. Watch out.
That guy's a nut. And he's passed some of his knowledge on to the rest of Bulldog as they group up underneath the Tier 2 in mid. And no defense here from playing Ducks. That's probably the right call. They're down so much. It's Fire Giant 2. Just trying to fend on these Phoenixes because these sieges are getting so difficult now, Ryan. They really are a new kind of game unto themselves, I feel like.
They are. What you really need to do is be splitting the map in these siege situations now. Use your Erlang Shen to be a push force by himself because he can get these Phoenixes by himself if left unattended pretty easily. I think that you can also just rely pretty easily on DaveJr. plucking a frontliner, let GunTeR Warrior poke out the back line with Chain Lightning, and then start the siege from there. But the Death Ball 5 might not work very well for Bulldog just because of the Zhong ultimate on the other side and that Earth and Fury from basic being such great AoE disruptors and team fight damage abilities that it'll be difficult for them to siege against that straight up.
That's right. It's hard to say someone's better at fighting grouped up than Zeus is because Chain Lightning and Lightning Storm love that. But you're right. Playing Ducks have enough tools as well to where they could punish it. And this has become more of a conversation, I feel like, how to go about these sieges properly. To some extent, you almost have to draft for them now. That's how big they've become, I feel like, in the meta right now, and how difficult they can be. And you got to do something a little bit different. Just the full 5-on-5 underneath the Phoenix oftentimes isn't enough to cut it, even with a lead.
It's part of the reason why I think Sobek has been so prevalently picked during Season 5, is that he's a great way to start sieges off in your favor. If you pluck someone on the defense into your Phoenix that doesn't want to be there, or if you're on offense, plucking a tank out of the Phoenix range and into kill threshold is a really easy way to win a siege. But you're right, I think that teams are doing a lot more drafting for the sieges. I think that's another reason why Thoth was so strong for so long, because he's the best siege character in the game. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more Kuku Khan because he's the best siege defender in the game, but having your character's best trait be when we're losing, I'm really good, isn't quite as desirable.
Oh, White Noise falls to Arya by himself with three other people around. He's just that strong. SARPEII going to continue the chase, though. Last breath committed. But this is exactly what you want. The rest of the team can now threaten the Phoenix on the left-hand side as Arya makes it out.
This is an easy left side Phoenix now for Bulldog. White Noise has just got to use relics, got to use ultimate, got to do something. I mean, Arya didn't even blink on him. I don't know how he got that close and went in kill threshold, but that's a hard way to win a game when your ADC's doing that.
DaveJr. does not find the charge prey, but it ends up working out because Arya blinks in and threatens the life of TPC. Mid-Phoenix down. This is without the damage from Raiden or GunTeR. That was just their two frontliners really putting the hurt onto the Ducks. Now they're going to move over to the right side, Phoenix, and why not? They've been doing so well so far, but it looks like, no, they're going to back. They need Raiden and GunTeR here, and they're already on their way out.
They don't have a wave on that right side, and Fire Giant had just fallen off, but I still think Bulldog could have gotten that Phoenix. White Noise was coming up, yes, but it wasn't going to be for another 10 seconds. Plus, GunTeR Warrior had his ultimate, as did Dave, as did Wormy. So you've got great kill potential. TPC's relics were down. Basics relics were down. I think that should have been a right side Phoenix there for Bulldog.
I think a Bulldog probably would beat a Duck.
Yeah, in what world would a Duck beat a Bulldog?
Right, that's like, maybe I should have predicted this. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's not... What I'm saying is, especially the Bulldog that they have from their icon, it looks really big, really tough. They can be kind of scary and strong, and as cool as the Duck is, I just don't think it's that good of a fighter.
I would tend to agree. I don't think the goggles really help him either.
Not in the fight, no. I think if something were coming towards his eyes, swimming underwater,
that would be big
hockey,
plays.
yeah, you want them, but in here it's just not going to.
Hockey?
Don't they wear goggles in hockey or something? Not only do I not know, I don't feel bad about not knowing. You know what I mean? I don't care that much.
Hey, don't like, you know.
Couldn't you like get hit with a stick or like a puck in the eye or something?
You have like visors.
Oh, maybe that's something.
like football players.
Sure.
Like not like goggles. No. You know what's crazy about cricket is that they wear water wings all the time.
Is that a true thing?
No, but I don't know cricket, and I don't feel bad about not knowing they don't wear water wings.
That's a good point. If I'm wrong about something with cricket, I'm not embarrassed at all.
You know what cricket actually does have? A duck on the scorecard.
That's true.
Dead ass.
That's big plays. That is huge plays. Playing Doug maybe needs to find one of those scorecards to help him out here. Is Bulldog are looking like they want to try and make their finals. Look at the damage from GunTeR. Are you kidding? They all have to go back now, and that opens up some space. TPC has used Crush as well, but without a minion wave, Bulldog are going to wait a little while longer.
GunTeR is just going to be the poke master from here. And frontliners have to be really careful to not let Raiden just get super close into this, but also not get in range for chain lightning damage.
DaveJr can't find the pluck again, but now it's Tyr linking in and dropping out all the demons. TPC can't quite find what he was looking for with the ultimate, as Basic has been left alone on the right-hand side, but Tyr can't stand up against Raiden if he can find those autos. There it is. That's 2 quick kills now for Bulldog. 5 up against 3. They're ready to push in.
Now all 3 Phoenixes should be down momentarily. Raiden getting the finishing touches
there it is.
On this right side as minion wave coming down right down the middle. GunTeR Warrior still has Lightning Storm, and that should do it.
He's going to drop Lightning Storm right on top of the Titan. Nowhere for it to go. Bulldog Esports find their victory over playing Ducks. And if I'm being honest, Ryan, it didn't look too tough for them. They looked in control the whole game.
From minute 1, I mean, in mid lane, GunTeR Warrior was ahead all game long. Scylla falls behind. That's kind of what happens to her a lot of the time, but by that level is a little bit too much. I love the idea to go for constant red buff invades against a low-pressure dual lane of Xbalanque, against a low-pressure mid lane of Scylla. That's a great opportunity to get some pressure. Solo lane, who cares? Don't even go over there. Don't mess with it. We'll have Sobek in the late game. They'll have Zhong. Give me the Sobek.
Who is your MVP from that game? I think it's got to be GunTeR on that Zeus, man. I mean, it was such a big deal for them in those team fights. Yeah?
Yeah.
You like Zeus?
Yeah. Agreed.
The thing you
He
like.
did way more damage than everybody else, and looked cool doing it.
It's all he does, though. That's literally all Zeus does.
What else do you need? Hey, why do you need peel if you can just kill the person who's attacking you? Hey, why do you need any
peel?
What do you need CC for if the enemy is all dead?
That's the best CC, as they always say, right, is being dead. But this fight comes out in the favor of the Bulldogs, and they looked pretty good doing it. It was, I keep going back to that first play, right, where SARPEII nearly catches out Arya and very nearly finds that kill. I honestly think that game could look very different if SARPEII on this Serqet is off to a fast start.
I agree with you. I think that if they're able to get SARPEII off to a lead and then end up defending their red buffs, maybe be the invaders on red buff, that would change the whole course of the game. Remember the one team fight that went really well, it was off the back of SARPEII's great ultimate, a great ultimate from TPC on top of that. It was really good team fight presence from the Playing Ducks in that particular team fight alone, and maybe if they weren't so far behind, we could have seen some more of that.
I got a big surprise for you on the MVP here.
What's up?
GunTeR won.
Oh, I knew that.
Oh, never. I was just kind of like joking when I said it was a surprise. Like he played lights out on the Zeus. It should clearly have been.
Oh, well, it was. So
the surprise here is that Mixer Chat paid attention to that and voted along with it. They gave it to Predators earlier when it should have been Rapio very clearly. I understand Predators had the kills and you all like Baron, but it was all Rapio. Y'all are nuts. Y'all are nuts.
You good?
Yeah. I don't know if they are out there in Mixer Chat.
Well, why are you
start a poll. Is Mixer Chat good? I bet not.
Goodness, why are you coming to Mixer Chat like that, man?
I should have voted right. I don't know. I just get on them about their votes. They're not that. They don't always get